Somalis are being attacked in the townships of Cape Town and Port Elizabeth. People have turned on these refugees, burning them alive. The message is clear: you are not welcome here. It is early morning on Eid, the end of the holy month of Ramadan. In Belleville, Cape Town, Somalis are on their way to prayers. This is a community of refugees. They fled war-torn Somalia to seek asylum in South Africa. But this Eid is not a happy occasion. Recently, several Somalis have been brutally attacked in the Western and Eastern Cape. They had hoped to be living here in safety. Instead, they fear for their lives. About 15,000 Somalis live in South Africa. They arrived here with little or nothing. Although they've been granted asylum, they receive no financial help from the South African government. They have only themselves to depend on for survival. Most have set up small businesses in the poorest parts of the city, where crime is rife. They are frequently held up and robbed. But lately, these attacks have taken a sinister turn.
Of course, we know that some South Africans themselves get killed and get hurt, in the crime split in this country. But then, we have a situation where Somalis have been murdered and nothing was being taken out of their pockets, not to mention their shops. Some of the community will say that this is frustrated, even move to exclude Somalis.
Since the beginning of August, Muhammad has buried 16 Somalis. They were all shot at point-blank range in their shops around Cape Town. In at least 6 of these murders, nothing was stolen. Muhammad believes they weren't just robberies, they were hate crimes. He believes that the killings are organized by rival South African businesses to drive the Somalis out of the townships.
From the government point of view, they are saying it's not xenophobic, while Somali community are not sharing that these are xenophobic attacks. I think it's the government's part to prove otherwise, but as far as the Somalis are concerned, then they think these attacks are justified to be said as xenophobic.
And that would seem to be the case with Muhammad Abdullah Sheikh. 5 men barged into his shop in Kailicha in September and shot him in the head. Nothing was stolen. Muhammad Sheikh is now blind. For him, the townships of South Africa are as dangerous as the streets of Mogadishu.
wixii aan dareensanaa oo dadka la leenayo ee walaalahay ahaa saaxiibaday ahaa la dhacahayo la dhaawacahayo waxaasoo dareensanaa oo aan kolkii horeba walwal qabay inaan sii joogi karin South Africa oo aan nabadgelyo ku haysanin awood kale oo kolka ama toon ku galaa meel kale ku aado hantiyaadna aan haysanin marka tii nooca ahayd dareenka ahayd ayaa aniga igu timid marada aniga igu timid oo aniga aan mataqaanaa laxaadkayga aan waayay hada rajadii South Africa aan ku joogi lahaa aan sii joogi lahaa halkaas ay ku baabaaday marka taas bay rajadeedii mataqaanaa South Africa yay ku xumaatay.
He knows other Somalis who've been injured in similar attacks. They're being treated at nearby Tygerberg Hospital. People here are genuinely frightened. In a community this small, everyone knows someone who's been hurt or killed. Here, at the ironically named Rainbow Nation Mini Spaza, a man was shot while we were filming this program. A second bullet hit the wall, which just missed killing him. The police deny that the killings are motivated by xenophobia. They say there's no evidence to suggest the attacks are anything but criminal. They also dispute the Somali death toll. According to police statistics, only 21 Somalis have been killed this year. This is significantly less than the community's count.
What we need to see is, security beefed up, and most of the Somalis who have been murdered now, there's no one who's actually serving a jail sentence for that. So we need more arrests and more prosecution to be done, because I think that has given appetite for the culprits, to carry out their activities against the Somalis.
The attacks on the Somalis are not confined to Cape Town. The most recent and brutal attacks took place here in Port Elizabeth. On a Saturday afternoon in October, 6 men walked into this shop in Izinyoka Township. 3 had guns. They beat up the Somali owners and demanded money. Then they took a bottle of meth from a shelf, poured it over them and set them alight.
Be careful yourself. This is South Africa. You're called Kwara. I don't know what Kwara means. Foreigner, I don't know what Kwara means. You're crying every day. You're crying. Nobody, since almost 5 years, 3 years, you are crying. Nobody help us.
No.
1 man died of his burns. This is not an isolated incident. A similar thing happened a week earlier in another Somali shop in Motherwell, Port Elizabeth. Yet the police continued to claim that these are ordinary robberies.
No?
Why I came here, that I must get a peace. And there's no peace here because I never had someone fire. That's why I want to go back because there's no one going to be fire. I'm Somali.
Their status as asylum seekers makes the Somalis particularly vulnerable. 2/3 of them still only have asylum papers, so they can't open bank accounts. So in the townships, people know there's cash in their shops.
The South African government, they don't care about the Somalians. Even we haven't got the documents. Like now we are using a paper, permit, yeah, they call it permit, but it's like a paper. Even when you go to police station, they ask you, you have got a document. When you give the paper, they say, this is a paper, this is not a document. We need something cover, like an idea, something like we can write it.
They have little choice but to carry on. Without refugee papers, they can't get formal employment, and even though the city centres are safer than the townships, they can't afford the higher rents. So despite the burnings, the shops stay open. Many ordinary South Africans have also been traumatized by these brutal attacks. Vuyiswa Zondani was in her house in Izinyoka when she saw a man on fire in her yard. She can't believe that South Africans who fought for equality and democracy can treat people like this.
I want to do the right thing for God. I want to make that fire gone. I want to get that man healthy.
She took her only blanket and tried to put out the flames, but she could not save him.
Our free country promise us for the good time. And our people, that time the struggle is on, they are going to Somalia, they are going another country, they are stay there. They are coming back when South Africa is free. Now I can't say nothing, just because I saw my own blood, my own flesh, my own black people dying in front of my eyes. With what? With nothing, I don't know.